else to talk about other than Harry Kane or Charlie Kane, depending on who you want to talk about more. But let's get into it. Everyone's sort of debating what's going on. It's been sort of the saga of the summer, hasn't it? The transfer saga of the window. Um, kind of tired of it. I don't know about you boys, but we absolutely should discuss it. So just recently, actually, I was going to ask you before we go into many of the politics of it and so on. Just the other day, they named him in our European team, just for the playoff stages, isn't it? What do we
Yeah.
make of that, Ollie? What do you make of them naming him as in that setup?
Not much really. More news would be made if he wasn't included,
Yeah.
and including him doesn't mean if we haven't got to take him, hasn't got to go, hasn't got to play. It's just also don't forget he's a homegrown player, so he fits into the homegrown quota, which you have to have a certain amount of to have a certain amount of foreign players in UEFA competition. So it was expected. I expected him to be there. I think had he not been there, that would have been almost confirmation that he was gone. But yeah, to me, it doesn't change anything.
Yeah, and also if it was for the whole competition, I'd maybe think it's slightly different, but it's only for the
one
playoff
game
stage, isn't it? So it seems like a bit of mind games. Pete, he's just come back, or he's just joined back in team training. Some of the players have made little comments about it. But I'm also reading that Harry Kane makes himself available for the European team, or makes himself available to play on Sunday.
Man turns up for job.
Well, yeah, why? But why is he making himself available? He is available. He's owned by that club.
Yeah.
It's like if I said to my workplace, "I'll let you see me at the office tomorrow." Like, I know you told me to come in, and I'm gonna, but only because I want to. Like, what do you make of that? What do you think about him? He's just come back into the team. The whole saga. He's late from training, not late from training. What do you see of it?
I mean, I don't read too much into that sort of Harry Kane says this, Harry Kane says that. I mean, the only thing that he's done is put out his little statement on Twitter and Instagram, which in itself is shit. And also, if it was the case, why did you let it rumble on for 4 days, 3 or 4 days, however long it was before you put it out there? Like, you knew this was going on, and I don't want my good name to be tarnished. But, well, if you didn't want your good name to be tarnished, why didn't you put it out as soon as that report came in that it was planned by the club? I think you're right, Jez, when you said before about how the club have put an olive branch out to say, look, don't be a tit. We'll just pretend this was the plan. But you're ruining your kind of your persona as a footballer and as a person. I saw a thing from Henry Winter today that said something along the lines of Harry Kane is a leader and an icon, and he needs to start acting like one. Which I was like, yeah, fair enough. But if the thing is, and this is the truth of it, we'll never know what's gone on. We'll never ever find out what truly went on, because you've got Harry Kane saying one thing, you've got Daniel Levy seemingly saying something else, and we'll never know. And the crux of it is, if you had to ask me honestly, did you watch the overlap with Neville Carragher and Keane, which was wicked, by the way, really, really good. And they said to the Spurs fan, Neville said to the Spurs fan then, who do you trust more, Levy or Kane? And it is Kane. You would trust Kane more if he came out and said this is what's happened. But we'll never honestly know what's gone on. And that's what's probably the most frustrating thing, because you weren't there. So, I don't know. I'm so on the fence of whether he'll go or stay now. I'm so 50-50. Like, over the last few weeks, I've gone from he's gone, 100% he's gone, to, oh no, he's staying now, he's stuck, to now I don't know which way it's going to go.
Interesting. Ollie, you think he's gone? You think he's in the right? You think he's in the wrong? Where are we?
Honestly, don't know. I'm at the point where if you've got a player who is as influential as Kane is to us last season, if he doesn't want to be there, why do you want to keep him at the same time? Like, how does he now go, okay, right, I'm staying? Like, how does that conversation go? How does that look? Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't see how he just drops back into where he was. He can't. He's caused a lot of issues for himself. I think whether it's been him or his agent, Charlie, whatever's happened, ultimately it's him and it's his agent and it's Harry Kane. It's not Charlie Kane. It's Harry. Whatever his agent has done will have been under the guidance from Harry to get him out of Tottenham, which is clearly what he wants. Whether it's to win trophies, more money, whatever it is, I just don't know. But the people blaming Spurs like it's our fault that Man City aren't going to make a reasonable bid for him that we want. You wouldn't walk into a shop and offer them a third less than what the asking price is and be like, well, I just want it. Which, you have to pay what it's worth. And if they're not going to pay what he's worth, then you can't leave. As simple as that. And then Kane has to...
I see Simon Jordan do a bit on TalkSport saying this is not Spurs' fault. Like Daniel Levy is doing what any businessman does, and it's supply and demand. Mm-hmm. I have what you want. This is the value of that thing. You've got to pay it or you don't get it.
Absolutely.
And that's the crux of it. And
Simon Jordan, I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of Simon Jordan.
I like Simon Jordan a lot.
He, and I think all this nonsense about he's done so much for the club, you just let him go. Yeah, he's done a lot for the club, but he's ruined that quite recently with his behaviour. And actually, we don't owe him anything. You were happy to sign a 6-year deal.
Yeah.
However long ago it was. That's your decision. If your brother's thick enough not to put in a release clause, that's your problem. That's your brother's problem.
We don't include one anyway. We don't do it.
The club don't owe him a single thing because he's not, like someone said the other day. I'm sure he's been well paid by Spurs. He's our highest earner by a million miles. So we don't owe him anything. All this talk of, but he's been such a good servant for the club. Yeah, everyone does their job well. They work hard for the money that they get, the job that they do. Just because he's a footballer doesn't mean he's just got free right to do what he wants. Any of us didn't turn up for work for 4 days without an explanation, we're sacked.
Yeah.
Crux of the matter. And just because he's a footballer, he gets different treatment. Stupid.
It is interesting because you watch Gary Neville in particular. He's a saint. He's the most professional footballer you ever see. And then a few people have done it, like Mikey Rich has done it. One of the fans, I think he's Adam McCullough, he's like a United fan. He often goes on different channels on YouTube. And they both said if Pogba was doing this, he would have a field day. He
was wicked actually in that overlap. He was really good talking about the Harry Kane narrative and how it's completely different to other players.
But I do think there's an interesting point there to come back to, in that what has Kane ever done previously? Nothing ever wrong. Whereas Pogba's agent is a nightmare, and you've got to control your agent. And we're all very happy to go, it's not Kane, it's his agent. But then when Pogba's agent is kicking up a fuss, Pogba must have told him to do that.
Yeah.
So it is a bit of a narrative there, and people need to be careful how they go about it. But Ollie, you saying if he's not happy, you got to let him go. If only it were that simple. Because like you said, in the next breath, they don't pay enough money. So how much is Kane worth? Because we've heard they've offered 100 million, and they apparently tinkered with 100 million plus add-ons, or potentially a player. And they haven't really come back since. Rumour is they're going to come back in with €130 bid, which is not enough. Again, well, what's he worth? What's his evaluation, boys?
To Spurs, he's invaluable, I think, because of what he did represent. He was meant to be one of our own. He was meant to be.
You were the chosen one.
He was the chosen one, and it is crazy how even my opinion of him has changed a lot. I think it's very evident that the kind of the Francesco Tottis of old don't exist anymore. Players don't hang around for the love of the club. And look at Grealish,
Letizia.
People that don't exist anymore. People, there's too much going on in football, and
Sonny, man, you got to give Sonny some credit in all of this.
Absolutely.
That man could go play in any team in the world if he wanted to.
Yeah, give him that. So maybe the Kane just sold us all on a lie. But to me, I think if we got 140, 150 mil cash, maybe 140 with 15, 20 mils of add-ons if he breaks the Shearer's record, those types of things that we'd like to have seen. But Yeah, I just find it's very frustrating. I feel like he's stuck. He's also stuck himself, I think, because I think the way they've played it has been absolutely amateur. Like they should have pulled this when Man City were offering an offer that Spurs might take, not when they're offering us 80 million plus 20 million in add-ons or whatever they offered us. You know, you've got to get the club to be around what you want, and then you pull a stunt and then you leave. But they pulled the stunt without the offer and just pissed everyone off. And Man City clearly can't want you that much, because sure they would have put the bid in now. I did read online today that we've supposedly said that the deadline is Friday. If you don't bid by Friday, that's it. It's over. And then I also read that Man City is saying that if he doesn't come this year, they're not going to bid for him next year.
So it's all.
There's a lot going on, but I just think he shot himself in the foot. If he just stayed quiet and turned up for training, and let's be fair, we would have not begrudged him leaving one bit. We can all agree that the club has let him down, has let us fans down, and it's not pushed on when we said we were going to push on. And the players we brought in haven't been up to what we thought they would be. The manager changes have been a nightmare. And so we wouldn't have begrudged him. And I think it's just the way he's gone about it. It's just stupid. It's just stupid, in my opinion. You could have easily just gone to training, not said anything, let it go on in the background, and then possibly got your move. But now he's just ruined the whole thing. I think he's really shot himself in the foot.
I would say that there is a part of me that would still begrudge him. But the only reason I would is because he's meant to be a Spurs fan, Tottenham boy, come through the academy, club made him, built him up, and here he is. Let him go a few loans to Spurs where he didn't do very well, and then eventually stuck by him and he's in the club. But the big one is that he's meant to be a Spurs fan. And I thought to myself, if I had made it, like, you know, God willing, somehow I made it into the Premier League and I'm playing for Tottenham, I don't think I'd ever leave. I don't think I'd ever leave. And like you're saying, he's not going to be on a bad contract. He's getting great money. He's going to see. I don't think it necessarily is about the money to go, but I do think he wants to go to win trophies. I think that's the big thing. And maybe I'm lacking ambition in that sense, but my ambition would be to win a trophy with my club. And I think most fans, we sit there and we feel that way. But then you see players and they kind of, that goes away. Like Carragher was an Everton fan, played for Liverpool his whole career. Now he's not that ball by Everton. He looks at every now and then. So I guess it comes away because it becomes a job. But there'd be a slight part of me thinking like, well, you should just love the club. You should just be flying the flag for Spurs. That's your club. You don't, because we as fans, we don't change our team. Some fickle bastards do, but they're not real football or club fans. But we don't. We stick by thick and thin. We go by where we're struggling in 14th every season, and we still come when we're up there higher echelons of the league. But yeah, so there'd have been a part of that for me. But all right, ultimately, how do we think it's going to end? Who do we think he's staying? Do you think he's going? And Ollie, staying or going? Pete's 50-50. He's already told us. You think he's going to go? You think he's going to stay?
I think he is going to stay, and not because he wants to, because Man City won't bid enough for him, and therefore he is stuck at Tottenham, stuck on a massive contract, stuck playing football for the club that we all love.
Poor sod.
And do you know what? It'll really annoy me if he stays this season, for example, and then breaks the all-time record and then pisses off. That's even more. That's never.
I saw Paddy Power did a tweet that was something along the lines of, "There is not a verb in the English language that will be able to properly explain how I feel if Harry Kane goes to Man City and then Spurs win the league."
I saw that. I was like, I so wish it could happen.
But then part of me thinks as well, like, look at Harry Kane's style of play in the last 2 years. Does he fit in that team that played on Sunday?
Does Man City massively?
Yeah.
In a high pressing team anymore? I don't know. But no, that's just me trying to make excuses for the fact that he's not the best striker in the world.
You don't want to go there, Harry. They'll make you run loads.
No, I mean, of course, mate, for us, when we played, could he
right.
one role where he kind of press all the time, which is what he did under Poch.
I think we played a different style. I don't think we actually pressed that much. We let them come a certain extent. The front three didn't press too much. They cocooned in, and they let them come, and they branched out every now and then, which I think he's more than capable of doing. But I also think he played a certain style to play against City. I'm intrigued to see how Nuno sets up against a low block. team come out.
It'd be interesting to get against Wolves, his old team. He knows exactly what he wants to do.
I'm really excited for that. I really hope we go and turn on display. But I'll say that I think he's gone. I think he's gone. And maybe I'm wrong, but I'm looking at the comments from players and looking at the way Nuno's talking about it in the press. And perhaps they're being uber careful and I'll be proved wrong. But I think he's not been on social media. His picture is still him in England. We've not put him anything out on our Instagram or so on for so long about Harry Kane. I guess it will just be careful nature. And ultimately, if he does stay, I think it will just be that you don't want to be not playing football for however many months. So, you can plan to me and just have a conversation with him, or you can not play football at all. And ultimately, how is that going to affect your England career, blah, blah. I think it'd be pretty easy to get him back on board. I don't think the players would be like, oh, we're not talking to you. I feel like they'd let him back in quite quickly. Yeah. Don't sit with Harry. Let him sit in his own at London.
Who would be Sonny would be the one, like everyone would turn around and then Sonny would be sat on a table with Harry. Sonny! What are you doing?
I love the clips. Is it the Eric Dyer tackle on Ramos? And they were saying this is like Eric Dyer in training, just crunching Kane.
It wouldn't surprise me if Dyer was like that sort of thick, loyal. Even though us fans have wanted Dyer gone for ages.
Yeah.
He actually gave a really good interview. I don't know if you boys saw it after the game.
Yeah.
I did. I read it. I didn't actually see it.
He just looked so done. They just kept asking about Kane, and he was just like, "We're not Harry Kane. We're Tottenham Hotspur, and we are more than one player." And I was just like, "You know what? Fair play. It must be a nightmare getting asked this. Quite like Nuno, everyone." And the first thing that first asked him, "So, where was Kane?" You know what I mean? Is that type of how do you feel playing about Kane? And it was like, just give it a rest. I think it was.
We just beat the champions 1-0. I felt for Nuno. He just put on a fantastic display, set up the team really well. Went out and beat City 1-0. First game in his new campaign as Spurs manager. Where was Harry Kane today? Oh, come on.
Poor medium, isn't it?
But we're saying staying. Ollie's saying he's staying. I'm saying that he's gone. And Peter's saying we don't know. So ultimately, no fucking clue.
Nobody knows. No one knows. I'm not sure if Kane knows, to be totally honest. I think he's a bit screwed. Will he play on Thursday? Or Sunday? No?
Dane Scarlett to play, I hope.
Big Dane.
Little Dane.
Little Dane.